Everybody just has to compete and contain one-on-one. There's not a lot of help side and 3-on-3, and there's so much more space to work with, so you really got to be on your P's and Q's on defense.
If you thought Carrington's famous eye-gouging incident with Caitlin Clark was bad, wait till you hear about this latest act. Dijonai Carrington is under fire once more, this time for a brazen and risky maneuver on Kate Marin that left viewers furious.
Here, Dijonai Carrington who does an outstanding job defensively. She's right on cue picking up the ball.
Edwards with the hustle. She was great in the first half in the opener at 8 points. Carrington. This now 2 for 13 from the floor as Martin up ahead. Dijonai with the chase.
Kate Martin was driving to the basket, doing what she does best, when Carrington suddenly came flying in from behind and gave her an utterly unnecessary whack. It was the kind of move that shouts, "I'm not here to play fair," and she continued to act as though nothing had happened, leaving the crowd as if they hadn't just witnessed her most recent act of aggression.
Okay. Nice pass. Oh, man. So you're going to help her up right after you clobber her like that, right? You're going to help her up after you clobber her like, didn't even look at her. Oh, she's so shady. She's so shady. These not only are these are your colleagues. This is basketball. These are your colleagues. It's a fraternity. It's a sisterhood.
There was an instant pushback. Supporters expressed their indignation on social media, labeling her behavior repulsive and dangerous. One fan wrote, "Dijonai Carrington has no place in this league if this is how she plays, period. And honestly, can you blame them? This wasn't basketball. Rather, it was a careless act that could have hurt Kate Martin severely." This isn't the first time Carrington has been in trouble. We all recall the sneaky eye poke she used on Caitlin Clark, which made everyone doubt her sportsmanship. Now, it appears she's taken her dirty tactics to a whole new level, but this time, not only are fans upset, but also her peers are beginning to criticize her. At what point do we say enough is enough? Dijonai Carrington has established a reputation as a player who consistently betrays the integrity of the game, whether through deliberate foul play or unsportsmanlike behavior. This isn't toughness. Rather, it's recklessness, and if the league doesn't intervene now, who can say it won't happen again?
I have to just take what I see and not wait, because it's only going to be there for a second. So I think it's just helping me make quicker decisions. And I went in and was the point guard with my group, so handling the ball, just being in every different position has been helping me.
Supporters are requesting that the league impose severe sanctions and fines. Perhaps there isn't enough penalty, but Carrington needs to be held accountable since she can't keep getting away with doing things that endanger her teammates. Basketball is not about risky moves and acting as though you did nothing wrong. It's about skill, teamwork, and respect. In a recent interview, Carrington was visibly upset and broke down in tears as she addressed the backlash. She said that her actions were inadvertent, but fans don't believe her, arguing that this wasn't a one-time error but rather part of a pattern that needs to be stopped before someone is gravely harmed, and that the league must act quickly and decisively because warnings and fines are no longer sufficient. Dijonai Carrington's behavior has gone too far, and it's time to make it plain that dangerous play has no place in this league at this moment. Fortunately, Kate Martin was not gravely injured, but the issue still stands. How long can players like Dijonai Carrington get away with this? If you appreciate this video, please share it and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our other awesome films. When you believed that things couldn't get much messier shortly after her well-known encounter with Caitlin Clark, Dijonai Carrington proceeded to light the fire. Fans were incensed when Carrington and Melissa Smith, one of Caitlin Clark's own teammates, made a tasteless and unprofessional video openly mocking her. They saw it as nothing more than a vindictive and petty act, and now, with her most recent cheap shot on Kate Martin while playing Unrivaled, fans are left wondering if Carrington will repeat the same stunt or create another video mocking her opponent. Fans are shocked by the idea alone, and wonder how someone could be that depraved twice.
That's not why we came here. We're WNBA players. We want to make it to the season healthy. This girl's a maniac. She's a lunatic. She's reckless. She's out of control. She's going to hurt some white player. You know she ain't gonna do that to a sister. You know she ain't gonna do that to a sister. She's gonna hurt a white player. If I was Lexi Hall, I would stay behind the 3-point line, but she still might try to
It's no wonder that the fans are turning on Carrington. Her actions have consequences, and when you repeatedly display this level of unsportsmanlike conduct, the backlash is inevitable. This latest incident with Kate Martin highlights a much bigger issue in women's basketball. The crowd's reaction was loud and clear as Carrington left the court after the incident with Martin. Fans who had seen enough of her antics dog-whistled her off the field. You could smell the argument in the arena. A league full of players who allow their hatred and resentment to overtake them and take it out on other players in the most heinous manner was something Caitlin Clark did not want to be a part of. Clark has always conducted herself professionally in class, but she made the wise decision to keep her distance from teammates and rivals who feed off negativity and personal grudges. Players like Carrington contribute more than simply drama. They also add a toxic element that is inappropriate for basketball or any sport, really.
hate each other by February. She said, not my girl, Kate, fight back. Okay, when she fights back and they start calling her racist, are you going to defend her? No, shut up. Shut up. Because if she fights back, they're going to call her a racist and none of you going to defend her. Dijonai was just mad Kate Martin shut her down the whole game. And the smirk on Mustard's face afterwards. She's just a dirty player who can't play defense without cheap shots. Yep.
Whether it's Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin, or someone else in the future, it's obvious at this point that certain players are so full of hate that they can't help but vent it on others. Dijonai Carrington's actions show a concerning trend. Settling personal scores in the most unsportsmanlike ways imaginable is now more important than the game.
This is her later in the game, man. Just swatting at Kate Martin like a cat. Like, look at her. Just, what's that? Just slapping her. What the?
But here's the thing. While Carrington is being jeered out of arenas, players like Kate Martin and Caitlin Clark have repeatedly demonstrated that they are above the small drama, earning the respect of the fans. The league needs to take a close look at this situation. Basketball isn't about hate. It's about skill, teamwork, and respect. If nothing changes, how many more players will be put at risk? As if the UNC court drama wasn't enough, there's another side to this story that has both fans and analysts scratching their heads. Players like Dijonai Carrington cannot be allowed to damage the integrity of the game, whether it be through fines, suspensions, or something more. Discipline is long overdue. Many are wondering how the Indiana Fever's chemistry would be affected by the off-court relationship between Dijonai Carrington and Melissa Smith, who is expected to stay with the team into the upcoming season.
Thank you guys. That was a great effort, good energy, good team defense. Let's go! Big Fever win. Let's go! Shots by big time players. Let's do it! Yeah! Together, 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
Although it's no secret that Smith and Carrington's relationship has previously drawn criticism, particularly in light of the now famous video in which they made fun of Caitlin Clark, the stakes seem higher this time. Fans are already inquiring about Will Smith's teammates' feelings over her relationship with Carrington, particularly in light of the tension surrounding her actions, after Carrington's risky play against Kate Martin and the outrage that followed.
Break my arm, bro. That was almost an assault. Good grief. Dijonai don't know that those fans go harder for Kate than they do CC. Yeah, Iowa fans, yeah. She was there for 10 years. Like, no, I'm joking. Was that Dijonai Carrington? Yes, it was. Yeah, that's not basketball. She's just slapping around, hoping she gets the ball. No, she's slapping around, hoping she hits Kate. She didn't. There was no chance of getting that ball. I'll be annoyed. She slapped her hand. Now, she slapped her arm and then her knee. Not even close to the ball. Dijonai eye gouger Carrington, the dirtiest player in the game. Mustard's play is so cheap Even Kate Martin's like, girl, what are you doing? Surprised she didn't try to captain insane her like she did Cece. Well, if she would, she's not gonna care. She's reckless. She could have just swinging like that. That's reckless, and it's intentional. But it's intentional, but it could be perceived as reckless.
Given that Smith is one of the league's rising stars and the Indiana Fever have made it plain that she is a cornerstone of their future, trading her is out of the question. However, her ongoing relationship with Carrington may provide a serious obstacle. When one of your best players is connected to someone who is the subject of a lot of controversy, how do you keep the locker room cohesive?
Responding to Christine Brennan, trying to get her out the paint, which leads to the Sarah Spain interview, which leads to Sarah Spain saying that Christine Brennan filed a complaint about DeWanna Bonner. We know she didn't technically file a complaint. In the midst of all of this, obviously you go back to Caitlin Clark and all the discourse that's happened around Caitlin Clark this entire season that has nothing to do with basketball. And then you throw in the fact that her teammate, Melissa Smith, is involved, who happens to be dating Dijonai Carrington.
Team, let's be honest. Basketball is all about chemistry, so it's difficult to think that Smith and Carrington's relationship won't lead to some conflict. Whether it's residual animosity from the Caitlin Clark video or new worries following the Kate Martin incident, it's difficult to think this won't affect the Fever's dynamic going into the upcoming season. You have to question if the Fever players are willing to ignore the appearance or how they feel about everything. Smith and Carrington's relationship, or is there rising concern about how this relationship can affect the team? After all, trust, respect, and accountability are more important than just basketball.
This is what happened when they found out they got the #1 overall pick. The excitement, the cheers, the smiles, big things coming potentially for the Indiana Fever. Again, back-to-back #1 overall pick.
If Smith is serious about her role on this team, she may need to confront these issues head-on and reassure her teammates that her personal life won't get in the way of their collective goals. After all, the Fever must ask themselves one important question. How do you maintain focus on winning when off-court distractions threaten to ruin everything?